At the outset, I thank the office bearers of the Rotary Club for inviting me to share my views, and also Dr. Shivshankar for a few good words. Today happened to be 2 days before the World Heart Day, and my topic is made very easy by your beautiful video, because the video has told all the things which I wanted to tell. So I'll just elaborate on that, because you are told about one chamach kam, salt, oil, and sugar. So those things only I'll be highlighting. One Heart Day is celebrated every year on 29 September by World Heart Federation since 2000. So the idea of celebration of World Heart Day is that we have to, this is a non-communicable disease which is threatening the world, and if every day it is increasing. For example, almost more than 17 million people die of heart diseases every year. So that means we have to educate, inspire, and motivate the people to keep their hearts healthy, while encouraging them to be act as influencers themselves. So therefore, they should know by this what is the amount of disease pattern which is present all over the world. This year, World Heart Day has a theme. Every year they have a theme. They keep changing it. Use heart to beat a heart disease. That means use your head, use your influence, use your compassion, because this year they are focusing on COVID. And as you know that Dr. Hansraj has beautifully slides. He has summarized in such a way that we have to be very serious about this disease. And also I like to highlight that 60% or 60 to 70% of the patients who die of COVID are dying because of the heart complications. So we should be very careful and don't take it very easily. And therefore, we have to be, compassion should be there, and we should also take care of our heart. Let us begin. So where is the heart? How to look after the heart? It is inside the, it is in our hands only. And I'm we lost the great luminary, music luminary, Sri S.P. Balasubramaniam, my favorite, because of COVID. And we pray for his. Now, the question comes is, how about the cardiovascular diseases? By the time I finish this sentence, every 33 seconds, one life we are losing it. And more than 1.6 million people are affected in India due to heart disease. And we have a very high prevalence of heart disease, almost around 12 to 14% of the population. So the question comes is, India has become world capital for two things. One is heart disease, another one is diabetes. So what is the reason why the mortality rate of heart disease has increased by more than 100% when compared from 1985 to 2020? And there is another important problem we are facing is 30 to 35% of male as well as female deaths occur due to the heart diseases. Now, when we have a special things to know as Indians, we ourselves are at risk. So when compared to other population of the world, 20 times higher than Japanese, we have higher incidence, 6 times higher than Chinese, and 4 times higher than American whites. That means to say that we have a very increased incidence of heart diseases and deaths. Now, other things is I want to highlight is the age of a person. We say that we are actually, there is something called cardiac age. So cardiac age is different from the natural age. That means we are 10 years older than the other population. That means to say that the heart diseases are setting at about 10 years younger than population compared to the other part of the world. So we have a tremendous problem of young people dying of heart diseases. What is the reason? There's so many reasons have been said that we have, as a country, we have become economically progressive. As you know that except for this COVID time where our GDP is less, otherwise we have become from a poor country to developing almost towards the developed country. Because of that, the lifestyle changes occurred towards the Western. Food habits have changed. A lot of junk foods we are eating. Apart from that, something like that, we are genetically prone. So that I am going to highlight about it. And we have very highest incidence of diabetes and smoking. Now, coming to the risk factors. So most of the risk factors are known to us. Today, I'm highlighting about the newer emerging risk factors. Now, something is modifiable, which is called, which is in our hands to modify the risk factor to reduce the heart disease. But some of them are called non-modifiable risk factors, like genetic inheritance. See, it's a very important point, because when you call that somebody has got a genetically prone heart disease, that means in your family, if somebody is having heart disease, which is proved by the procedures or by the evidence below 50 years of age, that means the heart disease has precociously onset has occurred in that family. So somebody gives a history of that they have a family history of heart disease within 50 years of age. So there may be heart attacks or even the deaths. So in this group of people, we have to be very careful, because they may not have any symptoms, and suddenly the sudden cardiac death may be the first symptom. So those who give that type of history, what we do is we investigate them despite they don't have any symptoms. Other things are modifiable risk factors, which everybody knows is like smoking, hypertension. Dr. Hansraj has beautifully highlighted the causes and effect of it, diabetes, cholesterol, and obesity. All these things are very well known fact. So what are the new emerging risk factors? This is very important. Psychosocial factors are very important. The Hansraj was telling about the software people, their food habits, and getting up in the late evening, and working according to the US times. These are all called, it causes a lot of psychosocial factors, which causes extreme stress. Therefore, there will be some emotional exhaustion, depersonalizations, and particularly we physicians have what is called as physicians burnout. We have to be very, very careful, because we are also not protected. We are like other human beings. We are also equally prone for risk. Other environmental factors are air pollution, which I'm going to highlight a little, sleep deprivation, and sitting disease. This is very important, because most of the people, we go for work and sit there for 6 to 8 hours and come home and sit in front of TV. Again, it is a sitting disease. So sitting disease itself is a risk for heart. And being a South Indian is not South Asian, sorry, South Asian is a risk, because the people of South Asian descent, all the India, Pakistan, all these people, we have higher risk of atherosclerotic heart diseases. We have fourfold increase. And also not only that, even if we do an angiogram and find out the coronary artery size, inherently the Indians, we have small size coronary arteries. So there was a study called Masala study. This study was done in US. And this is the study was done on the Indians of the Americans of Indian origin who have migrated to US. And they have done, and they found that in this Masala study, that is mediators of atherosclerosis in South Asians living in America, they found that when compared to the local American white people, we are more prone for the heart diseases and not only that, the complications of it. And in fact, the treatment, when they do it, either an angioplasty or surgery, even the complications and follow-up also is likely to be not very encouraging, because we have small lumens diameter and we have higher grades of blocks, and also multiple vessels are being involved. So therefore, as such, as I say, South Asians, we are at increased risk. Sleep, very important point. Sleep is one of the 4 pillars of good health. So therefore, sleep is very important, and too much sleep or too little sleep also is associated with increased risk of heart attack, as evidenced by recent journals. So the question comes is the air pollution. Now, of course, this is not in our hand. As you know, the air pollution has become a major risk factor, not only for heart attack, for stroke, even the clot formation events, arrhythmias of heart failure, sudden death, infertility, cancer. All these things have increased incidence because of the air pollution. There was a recent study last year in Jayadeva Institute. They did almost 2,400 patients in Bangalore. They have done a study. They found that below 40 years of age, most of these patients, even below 30 years of age, 25% were proved coronary artery disease. So they had heart attack, they were treated. And they found that not only the rural population also are equally prone compared to urban, although the urban population has more prone. But other reason is even the lower socioeconomic group of patients like drivers, they are also prone for it. So all of them are equally exposed. Smoking, a few words about smoking. Each cigarette reduces the lifespan by 4 minutes. Please, any of you are a smoker, please stop smoking not only from today, but you should think of, because if you stop smoking from today, you will become normal only after 10 years. That is how the smoking has its bad effect. It increases heart attack by 3 folds, increases heart attack, not only heart attack, stroke, and peripheral artery disease, and therefore also it increases the incidence of cancers of lung and stomach. Now, it has a lot of side effects, as you know, that increased risk of heart disease, cancer, which I have already told about it. So it doubles the risk of stroke also. Hypertension, I don't want to go to details. Already Dr. Hansraj has in detail, he has explained. The other thing is that insulin, yes, insulin resistance and diabetes, we have become almost the capital of the world. So because of diabetes, there is 3 to 5-fold increase of heart attacks. Most of the diabetic, when we do an angiogram, we find that their vessels are small. They have increased incidence of stenosis, that is the narrowing of the arteries because of the cholesterol accumulation. And most of them will have also the cholesterol abnormalities, which is also highlighted. So it is a total environmental. It is the heart diseases are due to multiple factors: environmental factors, metabolic factors, disease as such, and the lifestyle also makes it more complicated. Now, this is how when you take the arteries where there is a cholesterol block, and cholesterol block has ruptured, causing a clot inside. This looks like it's a cut process of how the plaque ruptures. Now, I can compare to this is an American diet. This is called burrito. Burrito, if you have visited US, then you ask for a burrito, it looks like this. The burrito will have a meat inside, which looks like a reddish, like a clot, and surrounded mayonnaise, then the cheese, everything. It is a wrapped up. So it looks like what I normally say is a burrito looks like a cut coronary arteries. So this is how the same thing gets accumulated inside the arteries, which ruptures to cause a heart attack. What happens is our cholesterol start accumulating in the heart vessels or cells of the body from 9th year of age. That is very young age, 9th year. For some people, the accumulation of cholesterol start increasing and further and causing a heart attack or stroke. Now, the other question comes is, this is how the heart attack occurs, because the cholesterol which was accumulated in the arteries starts, when it ruptures, it causes clot formation, occluding the artery completely, lumen, and causes the heart attack. So we have treated a lot of patients from 2002 onwards. I'm in AJ Hospital for almost 18 years. And I'm almost done some 28,000 angiograms till now from 1989 onwards. I have found a lot of patients who are young people who we cannot even imagine the amount of disease they have. You can see the block here. It's a young lady of 32 years. When we did an angiogram, so she has got such a high degree of blocks here also. All the 3 vessels were showing blocks, which suggests that despite women are not protected as we think, women are protected by God when they in their menstrual cycle is during the menstruation, that is from 15 years to till they get past 45 years. But during this period, women are protected only if they are not having additional risk factors like diabetes. If they have diabetes and other cholesterol accumulation and other risk factors, they are equally effective compared to the men people. And the important other thing which I want to tell about, already Dr. Hansraj has told about obesity. Very important point is we have to maintain ideal weight. How do you calculate? It goes by body mass index. And we know that our body mass index has to be kept on check. And how do you calculate ideal weight? Height in centimeter, -100. into 0.9. There's a formula which we follow. And BMI is overweight between 25 to 30, 30 to 35 obesity 1, obesity 2, obesity 3, and above 40 is obesity 3. Simply to say that in our general public, we say obesity has got 3 stages. This is a medically proved stages. They say lovable, laughable, and pitiable. So somebody is little obese, we say lovable. It looks lovable to have obesity. But when they become little more, it is laughable. And when their BMI goes above 40, it is a pitiable obesity. Now, coming to the what will happen in obese people. Obese people are prone for multiple disease. They are prone for diabetes. They have insulin resistance. They do not respond to the diabetic medications easily. They have increased incidence of heart disease because of the accumulation of cholesterol, heart failure, arrhythmias. Infertility is very important. Stroke, polycystic ovary disease, ovary syndrome in ladies. And also they are prone for higher incidence of carcinoma of reproductive system and colon. Of course, osteoarthritis of knees is very well-known factor. So therefore, is it genetic? Very important point. If as parent, if I am obese, will my children become obese? So American Diabetic Association says, if we have 2 obese parents, there is a 80% chance that siblings will be obese. If there's 1 obese patient, there's a 40% chance of sibling being obese. And non-obese parents, still there is a 10% chance of siblings being obese. And there's a very interesting study which has come. Most of the time, for our children, if you say you keep doing exercise at younger age, they do not follow. But suppose if you have a child obesity and your whatever weight you have at the age of 18, and the percentage of weight gain during the next few years will be a track for subsequent risk of diabetes as well as heart disease. Now, tummy checks, very important. We have to waist circumference for men is less than 90 centimeter. Women is less than 80 centimeter. We have to keep a waist hip ratio also in check. Apart from that, exercise. According to me, there are only 2 things which we can achieve, because I told so many risk factors, but only 2 things can be done from our side. One is an exercise, another one is a diet. I feel that exercise can prevent many diseases. So what type of exercise we should do? Now, if you look at that, it's very easy to tell, but how many of us are physically active? That's very important. 60% of US population themselves don't engage in regular physical activity. So, but when we are physically active, you maintain your body weight or waist hip ratio. It improves the cardiovascular risk factors because it reduces the onset of diabetes. That's the one thing which some people will ask me, how can we prevent a diabetic to occur? Yes, it can be prevented by following the diet and following a good exercise protocol. It reduces the onset of developing of diabetes, or those who are diabetic, it definitely improves the treatment aspect, and it reduces the, it is easy for us to maintain. Osteoporosis, obesity, cancers, and depressions are some of the things which will be tackled by the exercise. So ideally, basically, we should do isotonic exercise, as you know, brisk walking, swimming, aerobic, dancing, slow running, treadmill. These are all the things. Cycling are very well accepted mode of exercise. And we should try to avoid isometric exercise like weightlifting, but minimal weights should be done to keep our muscle tone. Daily walking, another important thing is you should walk 4 to 5 days a week, and brisk walking is very important. So that is 3 to 4 kilometers. Brisk walking will help. Put on a proper shoes, sports shoes, even level walking, no gradient, and on track suits was the one with good hydration before and after exercise is what is required. Now, types of exercise, phases of exercise, which most of us, we know that. So there is a American Heart Association statement. It says that non-diabetic individuals, weight loss and increased physical activity can delay or possibly prevent diabetes. And in those with diabetes, it decreases insulin resistance and improves glucose control. Coming to the diet, I have not much time to tell about the diet. Just to brief about it, we should know that we should have a balanced diet. That is called the American Heart Association statement, revision statement says that we should have a balanced calorie intake, diet rich in vegetables and fruits, choose whole grain, high fiber food, Consume fish twice a week, but limit your intake of saturated fatty acids. And we have to use a lean meats are preferable than the red meats. Fat-free skim milk, and minimize the beverages. And about sugar, I'm going to give a little more details. And moderation in alcohol intake, which Dr. Hansraj has already told about it. The DASH diet is what we try to advise for the people. Fruits, vegetables, low-fat dairy products, skinless poultry, oily fish, nuts, and whole grains. This is the DASH diet. And a lot of fruits, and particularly diabetics should be very careful. They can eat fruit, but the quantity should be minimal. And so there are some fruits which I'll be highlighting about that. And dietary DASH diet, avoid red meat, sweets, sugar-containing beverages, junk food, and bakery products, which are not good. So now you have a choice between an apple and a chocolate ice cream. So you have to think about it. Now, is sugar is needed for human body? Absolutely no. Sugar has no nutrient value. It is only adding calories to us. And therefore, WHO says that sugar has no role as a part of healthy, balanced diet. So therefore, before, already in the video, they were telling 1 spoon less. According to me, if you can avoid sugar, that is totally good. And very little sugar if you want to take, you are allowed to take less than 3 spoons of total intake per day, provided you are not a diabetic. Now, there is something you should know that most of the food which we take for breakfast, cereals. See, for example, look at this. The amount of sugar which is present in various cereals. So breakfast, we try to say, take some cornflakes. We think that cornflakes doesn't have sugar. You take a plain cornflakes, it has got 2.5 spoon of sugar. So therefore, most of the sugars are hidden inside. So therefore, what happens is sugar releases massive dopamine, which is an addictive. So therefore, it leads to obesity both in children and adults. Therefore, we should avoid particularly the sugar-sweetened beverages. So it's a perpetual cycle because you eat sugar, you like it, then dopamine gets released, you become hungry, and then again you start eating sugar. So you have type of the taste for it, which is very difficult to resist. So therefore, you have, and artificial sweetness, no artificial sweetness should be used because they in long term, they have bad effects. Therefore, when they say that you are diabetic, shall we use a artificial sweetener? You have to say no. You have to leave sugar completely. So other thing is about deep fry, avoiding deep fry, and sugar-free juices are preferable, and whole fruit is preferable. Now, these are the Mediterranean diet, which is very good. And there are some of the things which I like to highlight is the glycemic index. It's a very important slide, according to me. There is a misconception about what is glycemic index is the ability of food item to raise your blood sugar level. Now, it is not same for you. So, for example, people have wrong concept, but rice has more glycemic index. No, rice and wheat has got similar glycemic index. They think that we leave rice, we take chapatis. No, it is not the solution. Both rice and wheat has similar glycemic index. What about the baked potato and white bread has higher glycemic index than white rice and even corn. And if you want to take the fruits, some of the fruits like apple and orange have lower GI fruits. Therefore, in diabetics, we advise the one fruits which have lower GI, that is glycemic index, like apple, orange, and of course, honey has got a very high sugar because most of the patients think that if we leave sugar, we can add honey, which is also not correct. Then what is our goal to reduce the heart diseases? As such, this is the ideal to maintain ideal weight, BMI, and blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, leaving smoking completely, and increase physical activity is a goal for it. Stress and heart, because in the Rotary, most of you are executives, and you should know that the high cardiac risk is basically in a type A personality. They are very agitated. They are stressed because of their workload. Long hours of under stress, self-rationalization is very important, and lack of time, erratic lifestyle, indifferent dietary habits, and lack of sleep. The other thing is that we should have a sound sleep, we say. You should not make sound when you are sleeping. That is snoring, which is a part of obstructive sleep apnea, which is detrimental to the heart as well as the body. So you have to have a sound sleep of 6 to 8 hours. So therefore, I feel that probably the relaxation response techniques like yoga, meditation are going to help us in long term. So what are the ways to relax? Enjoy music. Music is a very good uh, tool for relaxation. You can hear the music, you can sing as well, and do gardening. Gardening is an extremely good relaxation. Reading book is an extremely good way of relaxation. So manage stress with your, so be in the family man, spend your time with family. It is also stress busters. So how do I know my heart is healthy? So there is American Heart Association has got simple 7 formula. Simple 7 ways to live better: avoid smoking, be physically active, eat healthy hard diet, healthy weight has to be maintained, keep your blood pressure intact, very control, keep your total cholesterol healthy, and keep your blood sugar healthy. This is the 7 simple ways of maintaining your heart according to American Heart Association. So my good health mantra is 4 pillars of good health: good food, which is a balanced food; good exercise, regular, moderate intensity; good sleep, 6 to 8 hours of uninterrupted deep sleep; and good genes. You have to have strong genes inheritance. So 4G, and I have added a last G called God's blessings. So with this, I am very happy to take any of your queries which you have. Thank you, Dr. Shivshankar.